a lot to take pictures together. Took us like a couple weeks.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
On this beautiful Saturday.
Yeah, gotta see what God's got in store for us today. Probably gonna be a lazy day, but we'll see.
Then going back to sleep.
Morning, Sean.
I can see
Sean, the first one to comment.
That's a daily plan. Lazy
Yeah,
day, then go
but
back
you
to
know
sleep.
what? You didn't hit the like button on the way in. Both of you. All four of you. All six of you.
Not everybody likes this. It's okay.
I know, but I found out, I read more about the like buttons and come to find out the thumbs up or the thumbs down, it doesn't really matter which one it is. It's activity, and it helps your YouTube page. How it helps, I don't know, but hey, it helps. So if you don't mind, help us out a little bit. We'll figure out how it helps later on.
It's a life.
I haven't figured that one out yet, but I do know that they help. Likes or dislikes. So all right, guys. We're gonna do our devotion this morning. Coming from Mark 11. Start out with verse 22 and end with 26. It is the prayer of faith, as they put it in some of the Bibles. I don't know why yours says that differently.
Ours is different.
See, mine is a lesson of the fig tree.
Ours is different.
Which actually, if you read before where we're going to read, you learn about the fig tree that Jesus said not to eat from.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day they come out and it was all withered up, the roots and all. And yeah, but anyway, that's a whole different Bible study.
The fig tree and then the tree died after they ate from it?
No, they didn't eat from it. They were told not to eat from it. You have to read on up in the lesson. Let's see. Yeah, that's the beginning of that. Let's see. Where does it start? The fig tree rebuked. It'll start at verse 11. Is where it starts at. But anyway, where we're now we're off topic. Where we're at today. Mark 11, starting with 22. And Jesus answered and said unto them, have faith in God. For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that these things which he saith shall come to pass, and shall have whatsoever he say. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, when ye pray, believe in it, believe that ye receive it of them, and ye shall have them. And when you stand praying, forgive if ye have aught against any, that for the Father also which is in heaven may forgive you your trespasses. But if ye do not forgive, neither will the Father which is in heaven forgive your trespasses. That's pretty much clearly spoken there. Really not very much to add to it.
What's your take on
If you have faith, it's the same as it says before. If you have faith, you can, with the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Saying the same thing. When you pray for something and you have faith that you will receive that, you will receive it. it's on your faith that you receive everything you receive. And the forgiveness part, that's something we all struggle with. It's forgiving one another. But see, like it says here, and it says so many other places in the Bible also, judge not lest you be judged yourself. It corresponds with the same thing. Forgiveness works in all ways. You have to be able to forgive the ones that have done you wrong in order to be forgiven. We have to have a humble, forgiving heart. We don't have a humble, forgiving heart. How can we ask for forgiveness if we're not willing to forgive? See, the ultimate display of forgiveness was when Jesus died on the cross. Like I've said so many times before, and it's because it's the most powerful message I've ever seen. But how is it that a man, flesh and blood, can come down here and be ridiculed for everything he says? Ridiculed for everything he thinks, everything he does. And he's there forgiving the very ones that are throwing stones and beating them and nailing them to a tree, shoving a crown of thorns on your head. Could you imagine that? I don't think they were little bitty thorns either, you know. I mean, they were out to do damage. So I'm sure they were pretty significant size, and just pounded into his head. But yet he still forgave the very ones that were doing that. And people think that he can't forgive us. He can't forgive the typical everyday sinner that you see around here. He can. Forgiveness is in love. True love. Not this boyfriend girlfriend love, and not this this little puppy dog love, or whatever y'all want to call any of that. It's true love, which is what Jesus showed when he showed forgiveness to everyone there. What did he say when he was on the cross? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And honestly, they didn't know what they were doing. They did not realize that they were beating the very person that was there to save them. They didn't realize that they were nailing nails through the hands and feet of the very one that was there to save them in every which way. Save their souls, save their minds, save them in every which way. Ultimate display of love is forgiveness, which once again is pointed out to us. You have to forgive. And that's what a lot of us have a lot of trouble with. Just the same as, for instance, the reason why I wouldn't go down to the other camp is forgiving the situation, forgiving the person that has done anything. You know, why I wouldn't go around anybody is I have trouble with that myself. You know, when it comes to something that is that devastating, how do you forgive that? And that's something I battle out with God myself. You know, just to let's let you in on a little secret. You know, I'm not perfect. I have a lot of sin. And that's one of my worst ones, is trying to forgive those that trespass against us. So, I don't know who the verse is for, but I do know that I believe part of it was meant for me. But anyone else that was blessed by that, that's great. That is a blessing in itself. And I hope and pray that we all get a little better enlightenment on forgiveness. It is the key. Have you forgiven Mike? I'm trying to. And I believe I'm close enough there. I'm at ease with it. I don't like the idea of what happened and everything, but I can't hold a grudge against anyone for that, because then I stand a chance of not being forgiven myself. That is a harsh one. That is a hard one. How do you forgive a person for doing something so vile? How do you do that? I didn't want to get on that topic, but that is a rough one. You know, but my prayers go out for all the ones involved. The children, Mike, the whole situation. I hope and pray we find peace in knowing what happened or what hasn't happened or what is going on with it, because right now, honestly, nobody really knows. I have my thoughts on it, which is probably about the same as everyone else's. But it's not our place to judge a person. And that is what I have always strived for, but yet it is probably the hardest thing to do. Is to honestly look at a person without judgment.
I pray the Lord wraps them children in his arms and guides them and protects them for the rest of their lives.
Riley.
Pray most of all that all the people that were hurt from it, all the people that were emotionally hurt, which is very obvious. I've sat back and I prayed a lot about it, and that's why. But we were even so much as fixing to shut our channel down and shut the camp down. We were just gonna disappear because of all of the hatred and everything else. And I got thinking about it, and everyone's hurting from it. Everyone's bothered by it. Everyone deep down inside, those of you that have watched Mike over and over and over again, those of you that have watched every day, y'all watch Coffee Talk every day. I understand your connection with Mike. Me and him were very good friends. That's why I still, even though everything is slapping me in the face with it, I still don't see it. I see he's an asshole. He is.
Yes, he is.
I was one too. It wasn't until I calmed way down before I become who I am now, and I'm still a bit of an ass. Not afraid to admit it. But that stuff, it makes it almost impossible to believe. Even with evidence staring you right in the face. Or, well, not evidence, but, you know, more conspiracy, but there's a lot of it.
Sickens me to my soul.
Yeah, and therefore, that's why I say it. It's hard for me to say. But we all have to forgive them. And I'm close. I'm trying, but that's a hard one. That's a really hard one. And I'm struggling with it. That's why I don't like talking about it. But you know what? It needs to come out. It's simple. How can we be forgiven? Or how can we ask for forgiveness if we can't forgive? It's not our place.
We don't.
To
we
hate
forgive
others.
Him, not his actions.
I don't condone his actions for no reason, or by no means. And I believe that anybody that does that,
Deserves everything.
they
deserve.
deserve what they're getting. And I hate to wish any kind of hell on anyone, but they do deserve what they get. Anybody that can do that. That is one of the hardest things. So how do you forgive that? See, and a lot of people think the same way. A lot of people think that way and never forgive child molesters. And honestly, I've never been put in a situation other than the situation that I was in myself. And I think that maybe what it is because I've never really truly forgave from when I was a child. That's not something I talk about very often, but yes, I was in a bad situation myself. But the Bible tells you in every which way to forgive them. But see, that's why we're getting so much hatred. It's not that so many people hate us. It's not that so many people actually believe everything that they're wanting to pick out, but they see it as there was so much disappointment that came from this area here, right next to us. Right, some of it right in our own home, right in our faces. There was so much stuff that was thrown at us. Thrown at every one of you viewers. He had, 3,000 viewers. I don't know how many of them were legit or not. There's also sayings about that, but I know for a fact that his show pulled in 60 to 100 people at a time. So there's a lot of people that loved him very much and trusted him very much. So now there's a lot of pissed off people. I assure you, I'm in the same situation and it hurts me just the same way. We can't sit here and bash at each other, because then we have even more people that we have to forgive or ask forgiveness from. So it's one of those do as I say, not as I do. I'm having trouble with it myself. I am working on the forgiveness part myself. But please, everyone else, understand what kind of how difficult that is. But understand it's a must. Because truly, how can we even have the guts to ask God for forgiveness when we can't forgive each other? Think about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get that emotional. I picked a nice uplifting verse and something drew me to a couple of verses below, and we see what we got. That was not where I was going with that this morning. Just to let you know, that is God talking to us. When you go with a plan, that's why I noticed a long time ago that planning out any kind of wait a minute. How are you deleting comments? You're not even on your phone.
Yeah, my phone's right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, someone made the comment about quit whimpering, and all I did is just remove you.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see you over there with it, but it's not whimpering. Whimpering is from more or less like a coward or something. It's not whimpering, buddy.
Yeah, get that shit right.
Without the hostility and watch the language.
Sorry, it's just.
I know you get upset every time you see me upset, but it's okay. It's fine. He is a very emotional child, and he does get very upset every time I get upset. But it's a part of life. You know, what bothers me more than anything is the fact that everything is so simple. And people don't pay attention to it. But yet at the same time, it's so difficult. The key to everything is love. The simplest thing you can imagine, man. Just kind-hearted love. Pure love. Something you feel inside, all over. Not just in your heart, but in your heart, your soul, your mind, every bit of it. The love I have for the God I serve. You see it. People see it. Some of you see it. Some of you don't want to look past the fact that I'm a human being and I sin and fall short of the glory of God. But nevertheless, you see it. It is the simplest thing. And that's all I try to explain to people. And I try to tell people that, you know, you have love in your heart. You also have God. Because with love is God. But yet at the same time, with love is forgiveness. So how do you understand true love if you can't forgive? How is it you can forgive this one, but you can't forgive that one? How is it I can forgive Selena for stepping on my toes, but I can't forgive someone down the road for saying some hurtful thing to me? Forgiveness is hard. It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Things are unforgivable.
And it does, and there are things that are unforgivable, but we are not the judge. We are not the one to judge others. Judge not, lest ye be judged yourself, which means that when you pass judgment, you better be prepared for it, because you're going to be judged tenfold for everything that you do. So I'm trying to be as easy on the judgment as I can. But the judgment is still there. Because we're all human. There is a difference between stepping on toes and Jomo. That was easy to forgive. And that's what I'm trying to get through your head. How do you forgive that? I agree with you 100%. How do you agree with somebody that could do that to a child? If, in fact, he did. It was an explanation for what I was saying.
Sometimes the sand's really hot,
and
he's a gentleman.
Besides that, maybe it's I have 2 left feet and I just put them under her feet. Maybe I walk too close. Maybe she likes stepping on my toes to make sure my feet are still there. She's afraid I'm gonna float off. Dancing accident, yeah. But see, what I'm saying though is even for a strong at heart, even for a person that, you know, I'll put it this way. You can find the most biblical and in touch person that you could ever imagine you will find, and set a child molester or a person that it is accused of in front of them, and see how hard it is for them to forgive. But see, that's what we're charged with. That's what we have to do. And I'm trying to figure that one out the best I can.
You can take me
So,
as an example.
Huh?
I forgive.
Do what?
I said I didn't forgive.
Well, that video was
I don't even remember his name.
I'm sitting here looking at the screen watching Selena roll a cigarette, and I'm like,
There's a good example. Her son. Then an accident because of somebody being stupid and drinking. She wasn't home. Her and her husband at the time was going to McAllister for other reasons. And this drunken idiot decides to put 3 of her kids in his vehicle and drive. Needless to say, the drive went wrong. He didn't keep it on the road. There was several injured, but her son was killed instantly. You know how hard that had to be for her to be able to say that she forgives him? That's hard. I can only imagine. I haven't been through that part. Not nothing that bad with it. I have seen a lot of it, but personally, and I hope and pray that never happens. I thank God every day that I have my son alive and well in front of me. But in order to forgive somebody, that is hard. It's easy to forgive somebody that, okay, they flip a cigarette at you and it burns you. Yeah, you got the scar for a little while, but it's easy to forgive them. But man, when they take something so vital from you or from an innocent person, how do you forgive that? It's hard. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father, which is in heaven, forgive your trespasses. It's right there. I would say it's right there in black and white, but in my Bible it's in red, which are the important words. Here, let me turn this around so that you can read it yourself. The words in red are the most important. I'll read that. Look. Hold on. Let me get it to focus. Okay. See right there? But if ye do not forgive, neither will your Father, which is in heaven, forgive your trespasses. Those are in red. Now that's something else I want to explain to you. There's a lot of people that say different things about the Bible, and honestly, if you stop and look at it, the Bible is changing. It may be a conspiracy. You can say what you want, but pick up an old King James version of the Bible. Pick up a new version of the Bible. Words are put in there differently, and just by changing a couple words, it can change your whole concept. Which brings me back to my original thought on that one. This book that we hold so sacred was written by man, which is fallible. And it's been rewritten over and over by fallible man. So there's a lot of things that could be fallible in there. And one thing I've learned, the words in red, that's what Jesus spoke. And yet, a few words might be distorted here and there. And we'll never know the honest God truth facts on it. But the words in red are the most important. They are the ones not spoken by one of the disciples or not spoken by a drunkard that passed through the town or whatever. They are spoken by the very same one that gave his life on that cross for us and forgave us for all of our sins. Every one of us. And we have struggle. We have trouble and struggles in forgiving anyone else. Good morning, Ron. You missed a really good devotion this morning. It really touched home. You know, it's always good when God gives you a lesson. But boy, when he whoops you in the process, that's when things get really interesting. When you try to prepare a message for an audience, and where I was going, I never even made it there. It was something I read yesterday that just went straight to my head, and that had to be brought out. And I didn't even pay attention to what I was reading yesterday. I seen it, I read it up there at the library, and it never even registered. It's the beauty of God. It's the beauty of Jesus. It's the beauty of our spirit. So, think about it. Forgive. It's all about John 3:16. You're right. Greatest gift is the entire world. You know, only if you ever take the time to seek the truth. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to seek the truth in every which way I am. And I'm wanting to bring y'all along with the adventure. Because I noticed when I come out here, God has showed me so much more than what I knew before. He's opened up my eyes to so many different things. Things that I thought were sins really were, you know, you should not do this or you should not do that. Why? Because there's consequences behind it all. It doesn't make it a sin. I'm ignoring your comment above. I'm sorry. I've ignored a lot of comments. Let me go back and see if I can find it. God is the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. His word does not change. Do you really believe God would allow his word to be destroyed?
No.
Come on, man. No, I don't believe it being distorted, but I'm saying that's what a lot of people believe. It is written by man, so it is fallible, you would figure. But I do know that there is differences in it now. And it scares me because people take the wrong understanding of things. So, can you say a prayer for the Paul brothers? I have that writing on them. That sounds like a bet.
Yeah.
Well,
We're not supposed to.
Rick, how about this? I pray that whatever it is that you are trying to accomplish today, I hope it works in your favor. And I hope and pray that it works in your favor. Except that. All right.
I look really good. I look younger. Look at this all cut
Yeah.
up and this all shit. I like,
You need to train her for your face.
I don't I
The
like
word is the
I
only
like
thing that
all
sounds
and stuff.
that stands the test of time. King James Version is where he led me. So I use that edition of the Bible. Right. That's why I use that edition of the Bible too. Even like the new international versions and everything else, they change it up. It's the same thing, but they change it up, and it's but at the same time, now you can take one verse and have three different people read that verse and get three different answers out of it. You know, so there's also that factor. So
Negative stuff.
I think you should end with a prayer, honey.
I don't usually pray publicly because I believe it is a private thing. But if y'all would, let's read one or two more, and then we'll end with a prayer.
That's not what I did.
Your nasty Jehovah singer has passed. I apologize to the shepherds and the camp.
Thank you, Herb, and I apologize to you. I hope you accept my apology. Everything went a little further than it should have, and I forgive you. Hopefully you forgive me, and we're good. We still love you.
I was just thinking in my mind, that's the power of forgiveness and love right there.
That's right. That's all in the past. Exactly.
Yes.
Yes. You always pray to have guidance and understanding when you read the word. When you pick up a Bible and just start reading, you could read 3 books. But there was only 2 verses out of the whole 3 books that were meant for you at that particular time. And guess what? Those are the only 2 verses you're going to understand. The rest of it's just going to be like, okay, well, that's good knowledge. But you'll find some neat little things in there and stuff. But there'll be 2 verses in there that really hits hard. Those are verses that were meant for you at that point in time.
Do it now.
So we are going to we're gonna bow our heads and say a prayer, and then we're gonna sign out. I am turning the chats off, so as far as the chats, love you guys. Y'all can chat all you want, but I'm turning the chats off for just a moment, and we're gonna have a decent prayer. Lord, I pray for forgiveness for each and every person I've ever encountered, that I've ever done wrong with. I pray that everyone around us that has heard this word, heard this message that has come from you, understands forgiveness in a different way. And maybe we can all start forgiving a little more. Make this world what it should be. Make this world what you wanted it to be. We have to start within ourselves. Lord, I know that I need help with it, along with a lot of others. Forgiveness is not easy. It's actually rather difficult at times. But I have a lot to ask forgiveness for. And in that, I have a lot to forgive. But I know you're with us. And I know you always will be. And the love that you have is true. It is a love that we all strive to possess. So please lay your hands on everyone and help everyone involved with a little ease in their own heart by showing them how to forget. If you see it feasible in the midst of all that, show me a little more forgiveness. Not forgiveness for me, but just show me how to forgive a little more. Thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Love you guys. God bless.